how much different the pro class was, and versus like in 17X, if you couldn't get out front and just make yourself clear, you were going to be in the melee. That's all there was to it. In every race. I mean, I can't tell you how many main events I've crashed in, just because the first turn crashes were epidemic.
In a weird way, dude, I liked being in the pack. It almost didn't bother me because I knew I didn't have to worry about someone coming up and passing me if I was in first, and I could milk it and I could work my way. I could pick my spots, and I almost enjoyed throwing people around, banging bars, and it's a weird. Now, don't get me wrong. I would prefer to be up front, but it didn't bother me, dude. I kind of liked it. I kind of enjoyed it.
I like it too. I was. It's funny because after you've been doing nationals and stuff, and you come back, I'd like you said, some guys in front of you, and you got a whole bag of tricks, just a little tire buzz or something, just as they're power wheeling or something. There's all this stuff that you learned the hard way.
Yeah, dude. I used to love. I'm in second place. Let the guy take the middle of the turn. I go high and just dive bomb on him and miss his back tire by that much and just nail him. That was another one of my favorite moves. But anyways,
that just happened to me on my supermoto a couple months ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this guy dove on the inside and he just didn't have enough brake, and I was like, I know if I dive in behind him, I can clear him, and it just like last.
Yeah, dude. So 80. So you hang it up in 83, 84, something like that.
Yeah.
Was there a crash that facilitated the retirement, or was it just like I'm done?
Well, I'd hyperextended my knee in Vegas, actually, at the Gold Cup that I was just talking about, that Chuck sent me to. There, I found out there was a Friday night local race, and I just like to ride, so I went over and raced it. But I was running my spinny gear from the race, and it was a little bit of a downhill. I slipped off the back of the pedals in the first straightaway and hyperextended my knee, and that was kind of the beginning of some knee problems. Yeah, but I don't know. I just didn't. I was really loving running the bike shop and doing what I was doing, and I guess I don't know. I was really intimidated a lot of times by what I was up against, as this guy chasing really fast guys around. I knew what it took, and I didn't know. It's the same thing now. Like, people are like, when are you going to quit racing? Because I'm racing flat track and supermoto now. I'm like, well, when I quit when I find out that I've reached my limit, like, this is because I don't race other people. You're racing yourself,
Yeah.
But it was going up against some of the guys, and now that I realize, they were just hitting their peak. Lee Medlin, Ronnie Anderson, Madrano. You can this whole list of guys that I'm racing with that had already been at my level for 3 years, and we're just getting ready to make the break. But you see them making this break, you're like, well, I'm just as fast, and then you see them making the break, and you're like, God,
I was.
I'm never gonna get this. I'm never gonna get this. And yeah, it's a little.
Did you ever make the pilgrimage to California and ride, or was it just strictly Minnesota and nationals?
So, my dad did this thing when I was 15. I was on Torker, got that TW deal, and my dad's like, "We're going on a family vacation." We hadn't done this in like 10 years. Puts a camper on the truck, and we're going to go to the NBA Grand Nationals in Long Beach. And so that was like, and I was on top. That was a good, 15. I was really doing well, and I made both mains, but that was the first time in California. That was pretty eye-opening, right? We were going to local races too, but that was the race where I got sponsored by GT. My grandfather was there. He came over from Arizona, and he's sitting in the stands drinking Budweisers, and he comes down after the race. He says, "Hey, there's this guy up here who says you're doing really good, and wants to talk to you, And in my heat was Rod Beckering and Dave Marietta, and the three of us are going at it, in our heats, because NBA, you had to race all three motos, so you get a chance.
Yeah.
And so I picked up there and talked to him. The guy with the black curly hair is Gary Turner, and he's like, "Yeah, you're doing really good. Those guys are fast, And so that's how I got my first deal with GT. Was my grandpa sitting there drinking beer with Gary in the stands. It's talk about luck. What you're asking earlier, like, how does this stuff work? You're like, it works like that. That's how it works.
Exactly, dude. That's such a bitch's story, man. That's such a bitch of story. Like your grandfather's bragging about you to Gary Turner, and Gary Turner's like, yeah, who is this guy? That's
Yeah, the kid
hilarious,
in the
man.
bike shop jersey, that's my grandson, So. And you couldn't even read the lettering on the jersey. It was so worn out, man. It was like, it had to be pathetic.
Nice, man. Nice. Well,